The Union. At the conclusion of the last episode, we ventured into the world of sports for a change. We talked about how Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins was getting himself into hot water with the woke sports media for the grave sin of voicing a lack of concern for the virus's threat to him personally, but nevertheless adhering to wearing a mask out of a concern for others. The media, of course, left off the latter half of the statement and instead played it off as Cousins being some kook who didn't understand the true threat of the virus. Luckily, Cousins still had some defenders online who were fond of someone taking a truly even keeled approach to the virus. Now we have another story out of the virtual sports world, to be exact. EA Sports recently released their annual version of the Madden football franchise with Madden 21. However, the game was met with instant backlash, and that negative reception has only gotten worse. At one point in its opening week, Madden 21 was garnering user ratings in the neighborhood of 0.4 out of 10. This was mainly based on the developer's refusal to address long-standing issues with gameplay, graphics, and continuity errors while playing the game. After years of going unaddressed, players simply had enough of these issues. Not to be outdone, EA decided to throw some fire on the flames already engulfing the Madden franchise. This is from Bobby Barack over at Outkick, the coverage website, Clay Travis's outlet. Tuesday, Madden ignored the numbers and opted to turn off its audience by adding Colin Kaepernick to its 2021 video game. The decision to add a non-football player to a football game is absurd and laughable. Furthermore, EA's approach to going as woke as live sports included rating the former quarterback ahead of half the starting quarterbacks in the game. EA was absolutely eviscerated online, and this article over at Outkick shows just a sampling of the backlash that EA and Madden got for its efforts. Now, this is partially because other documented errors in the franchise were left uncorrected, but primarily for the transparent Hail Mary for woke points in the wake of the abysmal ratings. For a bit of context, Kaepernick is rated an 81 on Madden 21. Twitter users were quick to note that in the last season on a roster, in 2016, he was rated in the mid-70s. So after being rated some 5 to 7 points lower 4 years ago in the franchise and throwing 4 interceptions in his last full game of action in Madden, and not playing since then, Madden developers thought Kaepernick had nevertheless improved over time. What's more, Kaepernick's rating puts him higher than half of the starting quarterbacks in the game. Former MVP Cam Newton and a popular pick for emerging star this season, Kyler Murray, are both rated lower than Kaepernick. Josh Allen led the Bills to a surprisingly strong season and a playoff berth last year, yet he too finds his rating lower than Kaepernick's 81. I think this is an especially good example of the backlash that is unleashed upon a business for engaging in pandering woke gestures from the actual consumers of the product. EA made this alteration to the game as an olive branch to a segment of people, namely blue check mark types on Twitter, who were never going to buy their product to begin with. Meanwhile, their actual customers were left unattended. Similar to the massive layoffs ESPN faced the year after going full SJW, leading into the 2016 presidential election and losing cable subscribers as a result, EA is now feeling the brunt of their empty gestures from customers who have voiced their concerns. And voiced those concerns for years now. Hopefully this lesson in Get Woke, Go Broke, as Outkick has documented in the past, mostly with ESPN and its efforts to go head on into the social justice warrior type commentary, hopefully this effort will finally convince EA Sports to address the issues with its product that have existed for years now and finally attend to the concerns of its actual consumers. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Has anyone gotten EA Madden 21? I know that I've had it, and then only discover about a week later that EA is actually giving out a free trial period of Madden 21 right in the midst of opening week of the NFL season. So Madden, the developers and the executives over at EA obviously see that they've screwed up to an astronomical degree if they're giving away free trials of their flagship football game. In fact, the only football game due to EA's exclusive license with the NFL, and to do so only a week before the much anticipated first week of NFL action. But if you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments below what you think here, and if you have any hope of EA finally tending to the long-standing issues in the Madden franchise video games.